Iran just bombed the UAE. Phones across Dubai and Abu Dhabi lit up with emergency missile alerts. Commercial flights turned around mid-air. An oil refinery in Fujairah is on fire. And the ceasefire that was supposed to be holding is gone. Trump went on Fox News within hours and told Iran it would be blown off the face of the earth. In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what happened, why Iran chose this exact moment to strike, why the ceasefire was always a fiction, and what Trump's threat actually means when the man making it cannot even confirm whether the ceasefire still exists. Let me start with what happened on the ground, because the details of this attack tell you everything about Iran's strategy. On Monday, May 4th, the UAE came under attack from Iranian missiles and drones for the first time since the ceasefire was announced on April 8th. The UAE Defense Ministry confirmed its air defenses engaged 12 ballistic missiles, 3 cruise missiles, and 4 drones launched from Iran. Iran fired 19 projectiles at a country that is supposed to be in a ceasefire zone. But here is the detail that matters most. The primary target was not a military base. The primary target was the Fujairah Oil Industry Zone. An Iranian drone got through the defenses and sparked a large fire at that facility. 3 Indian nationals were moderately injured and taken to hospital. Now, why does the Fujairah target matter so much? Because Fujairah is not just any oil facility. Fujairah sits on the Gulf of Oman, on the other side of the Strait of Hormuz. It is the terminus of a pipeline the UAE specifically built to bypass the strait. When the Strait of Hormuz is closed, Fujairah is how the UAE gets its oil out. Fujairah is the UAE's escape route from Iran's chokehold. Iran just bombed the escape route. Iran is telling the UAE and the entire world there is no way around us. There is no pipeline that avoids our reach. There is no exit from this war that does not go through Tehran. And the timing of this attack is not random. It is a direct response to Trump's Project Freedom operation, the U.S. military effort to escort commercial ships through the strait that launched on the same day as the attack. Think about what Iran did here. The moment America tried to reopen the strait, Iran did not fire at American ships. Iran fired at the UAE. Iran fired at America's ally. Iran fired at the country that hosts American military bases, that has been a partner in this entire operation, that has been absorbing Iranian missile and drone attacks since February 28th. Iran is saying, if you help America, you pay the price, and the price is your oil infrastructure on fire. Now the missile alerts in Dubai, because this is the part that hits Americans watching this video personally. 4 missile alerts were sent to phones across Dubai and Abu Dhabi on Monday evening local time. The alert said, due to the current situation and potential missile threats, immediately seek a safe place in the closest secure building. Dubai has 3.5 million residents. It is home to hundreds of thousands of British, American, Indian, and European expats. It is one of the most visited cities on Earth. Dubai International Airport briefly closed. Commercial planes bound for Dubai turned around mid-air. For people watching from America, think about what that image means. The city with the Burj Khalifa, the city that looks like the future, the city where your colleague just went on vacation, that city had missile alerts on people's phones and planes turning around in the sky. This is not a distant war anymore. This is a war hitting one of the most globally connected cities in the world. Now Trump's response, and I want to walk through his exact words carefully because they reveal something important. Trump went on Fox News on Monday night and warned Iran, if you target U.S. ships, you will be blown off the face of the earth. Strong words, maximum threat, the language of total destruction. But then a reporter asked Trump a simple question. Does the ceasefire still exist? And Trump declined to answer. The President of the United States, who just threatened to blow Iran off the face of the earth, could not confirm whether the ceasefire his own administration announced on April 8 still exists. That is not strength. That is confusion at the highest level of American decision-making. And Iran knows it. Iran has been reading Trump's signals for 66 days. Iran watched Trump announce the ceasefire. Iran watched Trump say the hostilities were terminated in a letter to Congress. Iran watched Trump say on Friday that America might be better off not making a deal at all. And then Iran watched Trump unable to answer whether the ceasefire exists after Iran bombed the UAE. Iran is not afraid of Trump's threats. Iran is studying Trump's confusion, and Iran is exploiting every gap between what Trump says and what America actually does. Now let me explain why the ceasefire was always going to collapse. Because the media is treating this as a surprise. It is not a surprise. It was predictable, and here's why. The ceasefire announced on April 8 solved nothing. It stopped the shooting temporarily. It did not address the nuclear question. It did not address the Strait of Hormuz. It did not address Iran's missile and drone capability, which Iran immediately began rebuilding the moment the shooting paused. It did not address the 14-point plan that Iran submitted and Trump rejected. It was a pause button, not a peace deal. And pauses without agreements don't hold. They hold until one side calculates that restarting has more value than continuing to pause. Iran made that calculation on Monday. The trigger was Project Freedom. When Trump announced Project Freedom, the plan to escort ships through the strait, Iran had two choices: accept it, which means accepting that America successfully reopened the strait without a deal, or reject it with force, which means demonstrating that the ceasefire does not cover American military operations in the strait. Iran chose to reject it. Iran chose to fire. And now the entire negotiating dynamic has shifted. Before Monday, Iran had a 14-point plan on the table, and Trump had rejected it. The question was whether Iran would revise its proposal to include nuclear language before the U.S.-China summit. After Monday, that question is still there, but now it sits on top of a burning oil facility in Fujairah, 4 missile alerts in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, a collapsed ceasefire, and a U.S. president who cannot say whether the truce exists. The negotiating table just got set on fire. Now let me explain what happens next, because there are 3 paths from this moment, and only one of them ends the war. Path 1, Trump executes the final blow. The military options are still on the table: the Dark Eagle hypersonic missiles, the B-1B Lancers, the Special Forces uranium mission. Trump threatening to blow Iran off the face of the earth is not just rhetoric. It maps directly to the compressed maximum intensity strike package that CENTCOM presented him. If Trump decides the ceasefire is over and the final blow is the answer, the next 48 hours could bring the most intense American military action since the start of this war. But here's what the final blow does not solve. It does not address China's dark fleet. It does not cut Iran's financial lifeline. It does not change the personal financial calculations of Iran's leadership class, whose wealth is sitting in yuan accounts in Beijing. A final blow that destroys Iranian military infrastructure while China's financial system keeps running is the same war at a higher intensity with the same structural problem underneath. Path 2, the ceasefire gets quietly reassembled. Both sides step back from the edge. Iran stops firing at the UAE. America stops the Project Freedom escorts temporarily. Negotiations resume through Pakistan. This is the path that preserves the summit with China and gives Trump a way to say the ceasefire was restored by American strength. The problem with Path 2 is that Iran just demonstrated it can fire at the UAE whenever America tries to reopen the strait. And the time after that, the ceasefire reassembled after Monday, is a weaker ceasefire than the one that existed before Monday. Path 3, the summit. This is the path nobody wants to talk about because it requires admitting that the military dimension of this war has reached its ceiling. The U.S.-China summit coming in the next 2 weeks is the moment where America can ask China directly to reduce the dark fleet support, to reduce the yuan payment processing, to allow the financial pressure on Iran to actually reach the people making Iran's decisions. Without that ask, without China putting down the